high-level fund manager sits in his fancy office, clearly not thrilled about the phone call he just made. He looks drained, all work and no play, but he tells himself it's all for his family. After closing from work, he goes to his car to take a ride home. It's his daughter's birthday. Before he leaves the garage, he receives another depressing call from his ex-wife, who wants their daughter to come for a visit in Busan. Although he barely has time for his daughter, he seemed uninterested in letting her go. He buys his daughter a fancy birthday gift, only to realize he bought the exact same one before. That is how dedicated he was to work and how lost he was in his family life. He realized it was a good idea after all to take her to see her mom. Early the next morning, they board a high-speed train to Busan. The cars are packed as the station attendant gives a nod for the train to move. But before he does, a destabilized female enters the train without his notice. She was shivering, unstable, and convulsing. A train attendant notices and calls for help immediately. She had a low pulse and she was dying. The attendant was so focused on helping that she turned her back for a split second, only for the sick woman to devour her like turkey on a Thanksgiving. She tore into her, clawing and scratching like she was starving for blood. The attendant awoke from the dead, just like the turned woman, with crackled bones and unstable movements. They moved like high-speed sprinters, biting on everyone they saw. The passengers became frantic and started screaming for their lives. One scream turned to 5 turned to 20, and chaos exploded across the train. This chaos woke up the fund manager, who realized his daughter was not in place. He stumbled right into the chaos, seeing the bloodbath with his own eyes. He ran in the opposite direction, grabbing his daughter and shutting the door behind him. A brawny man and his pregnant wife were fuming as they were shut out, but the door was open to let them in. Everyone was tense as they looked upon the infected, baffled and terrified. It wasn't a localized event. It turns out it was an epidemic happening all over South Korea. The train driver, after several calls, announced on the PA system that a nearby town was free, with soldiers ready to lead the passengers to a safe house. But it turns out this was false. The culprit's dad made a call to a military connection and found this information. To avoid panic, he decided not to divulge. He requested on the call for a safe passage, rewarding the officer with a stock tip after this debacle. The train arrived at the station and everyone was moving north, but he and his daughter decided to move east per the instructions he was given. A crazy man followed them who overheard his call on the train. But before they could be rescued, he received another call informing him that the station was in quarantine. The military had been infected and the city was not safe anymore. He helped the homeless man from an attack, but left his daughter prey. Lucky for him, the fighter on the train he shot out helped save his daughter and save him too in the process. They ran for their lives as the only way to safety was back on the train. A young baseball player who was on the train with his friends was left in shock as everyone he knew was attacked. The Wall Street dad had to snap him out of it before he lost his life too. Somehow this unlikely trio became the apocalypse edition of the Three Musketeers. Because of the chaos at the station, everyone was separated and they had to get back to their families and friends. They fought through the zombies, learning their weaknesses, which was a precursor to their success. The zombies could not see when it was dark, using their auditory sense for direction, and they used that to their advantage. They were able to reunite with their families, thinking they had surpassed the monster hurdles, not realizing humans could be monsters too. The car with the safe passengers did not want potentially infected people on their part of the train. They locked the door firmly to allow nothing in, but the baseball player broke through. This selfish bastard was leading the lockout charge. He potentially killed more people than the zombies did. As the baseball player was fighting, the other two musketeers were warding off the zombies, but the macho man was bitten, which left his wife devastated. His journey had come to an end, but before he turned, he begged the suit, the man he barely knew, to protect his wife and unborn child. He gave his life to save them. They ended up pushing the door open and joined the safe passengers, but no one wanted them around. It was too risky, letting them out to board the next car. An older woman who had lost her family to the zombies and wanted to join her, opened the door and allowed the zombies in. They tried to stop her, but before they could, it was too late. The zombies filled the car, turning almost everyone. Interestingly enough, Busan was the only city in all of South Korea that was safe, and the train was headed there. Although the train got to Busan, the zombies got everyone too. There were 4 people left: the fund manager, his daughter, the pregnant woman, and the selfish man. He pushed and shoved anyone who stood in his way, but karma doesn't skip meals, and he got bit too. Daddy sacrificed his life fighting so his daughter and the pregnant woman could end up safe. He jumped off the train into the sunset when his time was done. The pregnant woman and the child passed through a dark tunnel leading to Busan. The reason Busan was safe was because the soldiers shot anything they believed to be infected. It was a dark alley, and they were given instructions to shoot. The beautiful girl started singing a song she sang for his dad at school, which he never attended because he was too busy at work. That is how the soldiers knew they were human and not infected. Moral of the story, I have no idea, but if I were you, I'll definitely take the bus next time.